자, 그래서 실제 이 좋은 기관에 대한 그 실제적인 이그젬플을 유튜브를 통해서 한번 보도록 하겠습니다.
Hey everybody, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So today we will be talking about articulatory phonetics. This is the study of how speech sounds are produced in the vocal tract. All of our articulators in our vocal tracts must work in concert to produce just one speech sound. This is to say nothing of the complexity of these motor routines in casual speech. So just a note, we will be focusing on the phonetics of spoken languages, and more specifically, consonant sounds in North American English in this video. So, what's the difference between consonants and vowels, you might ask? Well, basically, consonants involve some constriction of airflow, whereas vowels do not. When linguists describe consonant sounds, we use three criteria: voicing, place of articulation, and manner of articulation. Let's talk about each of these in turn. Voicing, or state of the glottis, refers to what the vocal folds are doing. When air passes through open vocal folds, we call these voiceless sounds. When air passes through vibrating vocal folds, we call these voiced sounds. You can feel the difference between voiced and voiceless sounds by putting your hand right here on your Adam's apple if you're a male, or where your Adam's apple would be if you're a female. So produce these two sounds in succession. Z, s, z. Which one produces the vibration? You should feel that z produces a vibration, so it's a voiced sound, whereas s does not produce the vibration, so it's a voiceless sound. Place of articulation refers to where in the vocal tract the constriction of airflow takes place. Bilabial sounds are produced with both lips, like p, b, m. Labiodental sounds are produced with the upper teeth and the lower lip, such as interdental sounds are produced with the tongue in between the upper and lower teeth, such as alveolar sounds are produced with the tongue at or near the ridge, right behind the upper front teeth, such as t, d, s. Palatal sounds are produced at the hard palate, or the roof of the mouth, such as sh, z, y. Velar sounds are produced at the velum, or soft palate, such as k, g. And glottal sounds are produced at the glottis, or the space between the vocal folds, such as h, or the catch in the throat, as in Batman. Manner of articulation refers to how the airflow is constricted in the vocal tract. Stop sounds result from a complete constriction of airflow, followed by a release of that air, such as p, t, k, b, d, g. Fricatives are sounds produced when the tongue approaches but does not make contact with a place of articulation, causing a bottleneck of the airflow. And this gives the sound a friction-like quality, such as v, f, z, sh. Affricates result from the sequence of stop plus fricative in rapid succession. So the affricate ch represents t plus sh, just as the affricate j results from d plus j. Nasal sounds are produced when the velum is lowered, allowing air to pass through the nasal cavity, such as Liquid sounds are produced by allowing air to pass by one or both sides of the tongue, and the tongue itself can move a lot to shape the sound, such as glide wide sounds are produced with very little constriction of airflow, so little, in fact, that they are often referred to as semivowels, such as w, y. And finally, we have tap sounds. Tap sounds involve a rapid flick of the tongue to some place of articulation. In North American English, we only really have one tap, and that's at the alveolar ridge. You can hear the tap sound in the word butter, butter. Now notice where we write it with two T's in English that your tongue is producing a tap sound there rather than a full stop or plosive sound. So in North American English you say butter. Now as compared to in received pronunciation where you say butter, that involves a full t stop. Okay, we've discussed these three criteria for describing consonant sounds: voicing, place of articulation, and manner of articulation. And when linguists talk about a consonant sound, they do so in that order. So, for example, the sound b is considered a voiced bilabial stop. S is a voiceless alveolar fricative. That's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. So please check out our other videos, including articulatory phonetics and vowels, and also how to navigate the International Phonetic Alphabet. See you later.
다음 거는 잘 힘드네.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Welcome. So
이게 바울이에요, 이번부터.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Welcome. So today we'll be talking more about articulatory phonetics, which again is the study of the production of speech sounds in the vocal tract. If you haven't already, please take a few minutes to look at our other videos in this series on describing consonant sounds and navigating the International Phonetic Alphabet. In this video, we will be talking about how linguists describe vowel sounds. So just a couple of notes. First, again, like in the consonant video, we'll only be talking about the phonetics of spoken languages rather than sign languages. And we will be talking about the vowel sounds as they are used in North American English. There are two types of vowel sounds: monophthongs and diphthongs. Monophthongs involve one vowel quality, and diphthongs involve two vowel qualities. Now, when linguists are describing vowel sounds, we have to rely on a different set of criteria from what we used in describing consonants, because, remember, vowels do not involve a constriction of airflow in the vocal tract, so our tongue doesn't approach an anatomical landmark like they do with consonants. So the three criteria that linguists use when describing vowel sounds are height, backness, and roundedness. Let's talk about each of these in turn. Height refers to how high or low the tongue is in the mouth when producing the vowel. For example, consider the vowel sounds E and Ah. If you say both of these vowels in succession, you should feel your tongue going up and down as you say E, Ah, E, Ah, E, Ah. In terms of height, vowels are either considered high, mid, or low. E is an example of a high vowel, and Ah is an example of a low vowel. Backness refers to how far front or back the tongue is when producing the vowel. As with vowel height, this can be tricky as it takes some practice, but consider the vowels E and Oo. If you say these vowels in succession, you may notice that your tongue is moving forward and backward as you say E, Oo, E, Oo, E, Oo. In terms of backness, vowels are either considered front, central, or back. Remember that E is a high vowel, but it's also a front vowel, while Oo is a back vowel. The third criteria that linguists use when describing vowels is roundedness. Roundedness means whether or not the lips are rounded when producing the vowel. Now this is something that's very easy, as you can feel and see when you are producing a rounded sound, or when the person that you're talking to is producing a rounded sound. So again, take the two sounds that we just used, E and oo. Oo, as you can clearly see and feel, is a rounded vowel, whereas E is not a rounded vowel. E, oo, E, oo, E, oo. Just like with consonants, there is a specific order that linguists use when describing vowel sounds. It is height, then backness, then roundedness. For example, oo is a high back rounded vowel. A is a low front unrounded vowel. Remember, so far we've only been talking about monophthong vowels. If we want to categorize diphthongs in terms of these criteria, we must do so for the starting vowel quality as well as the ending vowel quality. But we won't worry about that in this video. Alright, so what have we covered in this video? We talked about the criteria that linguists use when describing vowel sounds and the order that those criteria must appear in. And that's pretty much it for this video. But be sure to check out our other videos in describing consonant sounds and how to navigate the International Phonetic Alphabet. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
자, 마지막입니다.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us again. We'll be talking about articulatory phonetics and continuing the discussion. Articulatory phonetics is again the study of how speech sounds are produced in the vocal tract. In this video, we will focus on how to navigate the International Phonetic Alphabet chart. If you haven't already, I would really encourage you to look at two other videos first before you look at this one. A video on how linguists describe consonant sounds and how linguists describe vowel sounds, because the criteria that linguists use for describing both of those sounds are really important for understanding how to navigate the International Phonetic Alphabet. So why do we even need the IPA, or the International Phonetic Alphabet, you may ask? Well, consider some of the problems that are inherent to the English writing system. The English writing system in its current form is basically a hangover of Old English. So you might have one letter that actually can be realized as a number of different sounds. Conversely, you might have multiple sounds that could be encoded in just one letter. So that's why we need the International Phonetic Alphabet, and it was devised as a way of introducing more one-to-one correspondence between sound and symbol. So if you hear a certain sound, then you always write it with a certain symbol. And conversely, one symbol always represents the same sound. So first, let's talk a bit about how to navigate the International Phonetic Alphabet chart for consonants. Here you see the IPA chart for consonants, with the sounds used in English highlighted. On the leftmost column, we have the manners of articulation, while the topmost row represents the places of articulation. Within each of the boxes, IPA symbols representing voiceless sounds are placed to the left, and symbols representing voiced sounds are placed to the right. You may also notice that some boxes are empty, with either white or gray space. If it's gray space, it actually means that those sounds are judged anatomically impossible to produce, whereas the boxes with just white space mean that there are no known languages that are attested to use that sound. Now let's talk about the IPA chart for vowels. As you can see, only the monophthong vowels are represented here, and the vertical domain on this diagram represents vowel height, while the horizontal domain represents vowel backness. Where pairs of symbols occur, rounded vowels are represented on the right-hand side, while unrounded vowels are represented on the left-hand side. It is worth noting that the only rounded vowels used in North American English are all back vowels. Just a brief note on representing diphthong vowels. Remember that diphthongs involve two vowel qualities, so the diphthong A, as in face, starts out at A and ends at I.
이게 이제 딥성이라고 하는 건데 두 바울 퀄리티가 또 같이 있는 거예요. 상당히 유명한 단어니까 알아두세요. 딥성. 그래서 뒤에서 나오는 거예요. 우 말이 그죠? 이 앞에서 나죠. 프론트와 백의 차이. 딥성.
I, as in the word lie, starts out at and ends at I. Ow, as in the word house, starts at and ends at O, as in the word row, starts out at O and ends at And finally, oi, as in the word boy, starts out at aw and ends at I. Alright, so what have we covered in this video? We first talked about the need for the International Phonetic Alphabet, and then we talked about how to navigate the IPA chart for consonants and for vowels. Just a couple other resources you might be interested in. First, do be sure to check out the other videos on the criteria linguists use to describe consonant sounds, as well as the video for describing vowel sounds. And also, if you access this site, you can see an interactive IPA chart, which will also give you links to images of ultrasounds, which show you exactly what your tongue and other articulators in the vocal tract are doing during the speech process, as well as diagrams for the vocal tract more generally. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching.